everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Isabella and I'm a freshman at Carnegie Mellon studying information systems and statistics. And if you want to see more college, health, and lifestyle content, be sure to subscribe as well as follow me on Instagram at isabella.fons. One of the questions I get asked the most about is about TED and TEDx. TEDx has been, in general, a huge part of my life. So in 2017, I gave a TEDx talk at my high school. It was a TEDx youth event, and it kind of got popular on YouTube. It got around 330,000 views. It's kind of leveled off by this point. And I will put a link to it somewhere, like all around right here. So you guys can go check it out if you haven't already. I know like when that happened, a lot of people came to my channel from that, and it was like really exciting for me. It was a really big deal. And so TEDx was very important to me then. And then in college, I wanted to get more involved with TEDx because it did mean a lot to me in high school. So I joined the board of TEDx at CMU, who puts on the TEDx CMU event, and I'm on the board. And I help with TEDx Salon events and putting them together and whatnot. And I help a little bit with the main event, and it's just, you know, a good time. It's a huge thing at CMU. There's like a 30-person team. And so TEDx is like, you know, played a really large role in my life. And a question I get asked a lot is how I gave a TEDx talk, how like that happened, how I got that opportunity and everything. So I decided today I'd do a little bit of a story time. I don't even know if this is like qualifies as a story time because I'm just gonna talk about it. But a story time about how I came to give my first TEDx talk and all about it, because it was like so special and important to me. And when I look back, I'm so like happy about it. It happened a little bit over 2 years ago, so it's kind of fun to look back and think about how that happened. And maybe you guys, this will help you guys if you are interested in giving your own TEDx talk, seek out your own opportunities to give one. And so let's get started. So I remember when I was like a freshman in high school, I said to myself, I remember like walking into my mom's bathroom and I was like, I'm gonna give a TED talk one day. And that's literally all I said. I like had like all these dreams that I like had, and giving a TED talk was one of them. And that was like my dream. I had no clue what I was going to talk about. But I remember looking on the TED website and being like, okay, like how do you do that? And it's basically the instructions were to find a local TEDx event near you. It didn't really have instructions on how to give a big TED talk, but it had instructions on how to seek out TEDx speaking opportunities. And I was like, okay, that's fine. So I was looking at like TEDx events in my area. There was like one in like the Woodlands and some other ones around Houston. And I was like, and then they had really strict application guidelines and very like, it just seemed very difficult, and like you really had to know what you were giving your TEDx talk about, which makes sense. Like you should know what you're giving your talk about before you apply, obviously. But I didn't know what I was going to talk about. You know, I was only 14. I didn't have much life experience. The only thing I could think of talking about was veganism, which was kind of being like overdone in like 2014 was like when veganism was really blowing up. And so that was like the only thing I could talk about. And I was like, no, I guess I'll just wait until I'm older and established and have a career. Okay, so 2 years go by after my freshman year in high school. I'm a junior now, and it's the start of my junior year. I have a bit more life experience, and I get a text from like our NHS, like remind. It's a thing where teachers can text you, and I get a text from that remind through NHS. So I was in NHS, which is the National Honor Society, my junior year, and it was like, student speaking panel opportunity, apply below. And I was like, okay. And I love talking. I have a YouTube channel, so I love getting involved with school. And I feel like it was really hard for me to get involved in my high school because my high school was so big. So every time I try to like be a part of something, I usually wouldn't get it. So I applied to this like student speaker panel, and the 2 questions on this application to be on the student speaker panel, so I thought, was like, what would you talk about in terms of leaving a legacy, and like what does leaving a legacy mean to you? Those might be wrong, but I think that's what they were. And the theme of this like student speaker panel was going to be legacy, and I just it was going to be a student speaker panel. Like I don't think TEDx was in the conversation at this point, and it was going to be like a student speaker panel about like leaving your legacy. And that's like what it was, and that's what I applied for. And I wrote like a ton about it because I was like really into writing my junior year. Like I loved writing, I still do. And so I was like just like typing away, talking about my legacy or something. And I think originally I wanted to talk about leaving a legacy of girls in computer science, because I think there's only like 8 girls in computer science at my high school. Okay, so I applied to this thing, and then I get invited back to do an interview. And I found out that only like 8 people applied, and they can only take 6 to this like student speaker panel. And at this time, I'm pretty sure it was still going to be a student speaker panel, not TEDx. And so only 2 people are gonna get turned down. So I go into this interview, and it's with like the assistant principal and like 2 other principals. And maybe at this time TEDx was in the talk, just because I don't know why else an assistant principal would be there, but I don't really know. So I go in still thinking it's a student speaker panel, and they asked me what I'm going to talk about, and I talked about Code with Carly and Carly Claus, because I used to always bring that up in interviews. And I talked about Code with Carly and girls in computer science and how it's an issue and how girls should know how to code, and I mean they should. So I just like talked about that, and then I left and I thought it went pretty well, and then I heard nothing. I'm actually trying to find the emails I got from around that time. Okay, so a few months go by, and it is December, and these interviews were in like September, October. And by that time, I knew it was gonna be a TEDx event, but I'm not sure I was supposed to, because what happened was one of my friends was an officer of NHS, and she told me that it was going to be like a TEDx event, and she was like helping put it on. Her name's Kirsten. If she's watching this, hello. And so she told me that it was gonna be a TEDx event, but like I didn't know that before I applied, or like before I went into the interview or anything. I found that out around in like late October, I found that out. And so a few months go by, and then in December 8th, 2016, I get this email, and its subject is TEDx Youth at my high school, and it says, after thorough evaluation, you all have been selected to participate on our student panel for our TEDx Youth event. And that's the first email I can remember getting. I don't think there was one before. And then all they said also in that email was that they changed the theme from legacy to footprints, because for TEDx you have to get themes approved, and TEDx didn't like the theme legacy, so they changed it to footprints, and that's like all I knew at that point. And so literally, I think that night I started working on my TEDx talk. And that's pretty much how I came to have the opportunity to give a talk. It really did just fall in my lap, and I feel bad because there's so many other like qualified students who I think would be so deserving of giving TEDx talks, and like they just haven't gotten the opportunity because their high schools weren't putting on an event. It wasn't something I actively seeked out, but I don't know if everyone like believes in this, but I do believe in like manifestation and everything. And I think that like telling myself like I was gonna give a TEDx talk someday, and like consistently thinking about it, and always thinking about like how I could get there and what my talk would be about, like really helped me land this opportunity. Because who knows if I'd be interested in speaking, who knows if I would have applied to a speaker panel if I didn't want to give practice, like have practice speaking in order to give a TEDx talk later. And it just happened to turn into a TEDx event, because I can't really give much advice on how to like find a TEDx event and be successful in applying, because this was like kind of like a trick, and it kind of just fell into my lap, and I had no clue what was happening. But I'm so grateful that that happened, and I think that was like one of like the highlights of junior year, because junior year is obviously really hard, but this like really helped me like just be a lot happier. Then after December went by, I can talk about how I like went through the process of writing my talk, and I started writing about computer science, I'm pretty sure. And I think I wrote a paragraph, and I was like, this sucks, like so bad. Like I don't know what to say that's new and fresh. Like everything I'm saying is like important. Like I'm saying that girls should be in computer science, which is like true, and they should be. But it's just like really a saturated topic of discussion. So that's where like my TED talk started, or TEDx talk started. And that's when I started thinking about how I used to, my freshman year of high school, if you watch my TEDx talk, this will make sense. But my freshman year of high school, running was very stressful for me, and cross country was very stressful for me. In sophomore year of high school, it was so much better for me. And not only was it less stressful, but I was running like so much faster than I was freshman year. And I think it's because I really changed my mentality from being like really anxious and stressed out about running to like really appreciating and like loving the opportunity to run. And that's what really helped me. So I talked about perfection, and I read this book by John Steinbeck where like one of the characters says, now that you don't have to be perfect, you can be good, and that just like really shook me. And so I started writing my talk basically around that quote and how it really like affected my outlook on running. And so that's where the whole TEDx talk that I actually ended up giving came from. And I'm really glad I switched from talking about girls in computer science, because I don't think it would have been as impactful if I did that, because I'm not even in computer science right now. So I do think everybody has one TEDx talk to give. I truly believe that. Maybe not two, but everyone has at least one. And so I want everyone to have the opportunity, and I'm just like so grateful that I got mine the way that I did, because I think the way like I didn't know what I was applying for, and that's how it happened, like just made it extra special. A fun fact is actually all the TEDx videos from my event, so all the videos from like TEDx Youth on my high school, if you click the video you'll find them all. I edited them all and filmed them all because I did the school announcements, and like the NHS of my school got the school announcements to do it, so my other people in school announcements like filmed it, but like using my camera and stuff and my SD cards, and then I edited it in class for like 2 weeks. It took me so long just watching everyone's TED Talks and like doing all the angles and everything, but so yes, I did actually edit my own TED video, which was kind of funny. Anyways, that is it for today's video, kind of short but getting to the point and answering a big question that I get all of the time, so I just wanted to put that out there. Be sure to stay tuned for more summer videos. I love summer because I just get to film videos and post them and like just like do back to school season. So I love like summer for YouTube. It's probably my favorite because I can just like not have to worry about school and go full YouTube mode, which is really fun. So that is all for me today. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it useful, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.